Bill Burr has been going viral recently for his stance on billionaires, and particularly the really elite billionaires, and he hasn't been mincing his words. So this is something that Bill Burr said about billionaires on his Monday morning podcast, and we're going to play it for you, and then we can kind of react. But here is what he recently said.
The people that are struggling out there because of these billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much money in this country, and there's so much work being done, and if you work a full week at a job, you should be able to pay your rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get a job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country, because then the kids don't see their parents, and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so these billionaires, they need to be put down, like rabid dogs. They're like rabid with greed and just going out and just dividing everybody.
Okay, so that's what he said. And so I actually have a nuanced take about this. So a couple weeks ago, I made a video talking about Bill Burr. He was on Jimmy Fallon, I think, or Kimmel. And then he was also on his podcast, and he was talking about how Luigi Mangione was a hero, and the death of Brian Thompson, the United Health CEO, is justified. And I came on here and I said, I don't think we should justify killing other people. And I kind of shot on Bill Burr. I still don't think that we should justify killing other people. I don't think justifying killing anybody is good. But over time, over the past month or so, I've really thought about this topic. And what Bill Burr said there, correct. Whether or not you're conservative or liberal, Democrat or Republican, these billionaires are pitting us against each other, whether it's in the media, how it's covered, or whether it's in the job market like he was talking about. Once again, I don't think that we should be wishing death on these billionaires, because they are people at the end of the day. But he was correct there. You shouldn't be working 40 hours a week, and maybe you work overtime because you already can't afford your bills. Inflation created by the government, created by these billionaires who have taken jobs overseas. So now all these other companies, they do the same thing. All these billionaires that are controlling these companies take the jobs overseas where everything else is cheaper. And so now places like Ohio, the state that I live, the whole Midwest is unemployed. A lot of these areas that were once thriving, steel, glass, rubber factories, for example, all of these big exporters to every country in the world, now they do it overseas because it's cheaper, because there's no standard for work there. They don't have any conditions that, there's no standards for the workers. Here we have standards. Here we have all these things, protections for workers, unions, whether or not you have a good or bad opinion. We have these protections for workers. We have standards here, which is why our work costs more. It's common sense. But what Bill is saying is true. If you work all this time in this world, most likely you're not going to have time to spend with your family, with your kids. Kids are not going to be able to see their parents because they're working, and it's true. It's happening. It's real. Whether or not you're Republican or Democrat, this is true. And I agree, man. Now, when Bill starts talking about socialized medicine and Medicare for all, I don't know if I really agree with that. I'm not a big fan of socialism per se, because if you think, there's that one story about the 500-pound rapper, right, Dank the Moss, who couldn't fit into a lift, or maybe she could have fit, but the lift driver denied her access into the lift because she was really big, and he thought she would pop the tires. Now, that's kind of funny, but if we were to have Medicare for all, would taxes have to go towards her health care as well? Because she made that choice to for whatever reason, she's 500 pounds. She did that. It was her fault that she got that. So are we going to spend all of this tax money on healthcare for her after she knowingly just ruined her body? Just as an example, I don't know if I could get down with that because everybody's health is different, right? And some people take good care of their bodies, some people don't take good care of their bodies. So I'm not sure if Medicare for all is the best thing. However, I do agree with a lot of what Bill Burr said. And it kind of changed my opinion about it. I mean, because I'm a working person, I feel it. And a lot of people in this country don't have healthcare. And I wasn't privy to that information when I made that video a month ago. But it's sad, man. I hope that with this new administration we're able to right the wrongs. Because I don't know how we see a way out of this unless we get jobs back here. And these corporations, man, that's another thing. I've become very anti-corporation because corporations feel like they're anti-people. And so hopefully we get more jobs back here. But as I become privy to more information regarding these giant tech billionaires now becoming part of Trump's administration, when this was not advertised in the election. I mean, Elon was carrying water, right? But he's kind of not a Silicon Valley tech billionaire. I don't even know what maybe he is a tech billionaire. Probably, yeah, he's a tech billionaire, but he's not Silicon Valley. You have people like Mark Andreessen now that were carrying water for Trump in the election. You have Peter Thiel, who was carrying water for Trump in the election. But the people like Zuckerberg, Bezos, Larry Ellison were not advertised. They were not carrying water for Trump, and now all of a sudden they're working with the administration. Sam Altman too. I don't like that. These people are sexist. So we've talked about this on the podcast. They want to have us transcend humanity and have us be post-human and integrate us with technology. I don't want that. I don't think the majority of people in the world want that, let alone Americans. So echoing what Bill Burr says, man, I agree. I agree with a lot. You should be able to work 40 hours and have a good life in America. That's always something that should have happened. I don't know. But I mean, continuing on, right? We're talking